Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakudash. Welcome to another live lesson. And the name of this one is whether a curse, a proverb, or a made-up phrase, there's still relevance. And pretty much what I'm speaking about is this saying that they attribute to an ancient Chinese curse, which was never found. No one found any trace of an ancient Chinese curse that said this. May you live in interesting times. And first time I heard this was Elder Pastor had brought this up a while ago. And every once in a while, this phrase pops up in my mind. And I decided to use it to do, a lesson through the Spirit. Spirit's moving me to do it. And I just wanted to focus on this because it's an interesting background to the saying. It's said to be a curse, a Chinese curse, but no one's ever found anything that gives that any credence. But nevertheless, it's a saying. Somebody said it. That's why the name of the lesson is whether a curse, a proverb, or a made-up phrase, there's still relevance. And the meaning of this phrase, there's still relevance to it in these times. Now, when you look up the word relevance, it says the quality or state of being closely connected or appropriate. And it is appropriate for the times. The whole concept behind the meaning of that phrase, there's relevance to these times that we're living in today. And when we go to the actual phrase, may you live in interesting times, it says may you live in interesting times is an English expression that is claimed to be a translation of a traditional Chinese curse, while seemingly a blessing, right? Because if you look at it, excuse me, at first glance, it seems like it's a blessing, right? It says the expression is normally used ironically. Life is better in uninteresting times of peace and tranquility than in interesting ones, which are usually times of trouble. And this is where we're heading to. This is the turbulent times that we're heading to. Let me just write this down here. I've always wanted to do a lesson on that, but let's see what comes up. So let's just deal with this. Let's read this again. While seemingly a blessing, the expression is normally used ironically. Life is better in uninteresting times of peace and tranquility than in interesting ones, which are usually times of trouble. And this is where we're heading into. We're heading into turbulent times. We're heading into what the scriptures call a time of trouble. A time of, the time when there will be no other event in the history of man that can compare to the times that are coming. So let's start off with a few precepts. 2 Timothy 3:1. It says, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. We look up this word perilous, right? Or perilous times, right? Kalepos. So it's kalepos kairos, perilous times. And right here it says, perhaps from kalau, through the idea of reducing the strength. And now you have beginnings of empires. You have the apex of an empire, which is their highest time, the highest time that they're, at their height. And then you have the reducing or strength or the coming down of that empire. And we're right now witnessing, and have been witnessing for a while now, the decline of this American empire. The decline of the hold and the influence that America had upon these other nations. You're seeing that. So the word kalepos or perilous means hard to do, to take, to approach. Another word that goes hand in hand with this as a synonym would be the word straight or straits. STRAITS. Not the the GH one that's going straight forward. This straits is speaking about a position of difficulty, hard to do. And you have to set your mindset as the mindset of the average American person out here that are in that reveling, having a good time, laid back, lazy, instant this and instant that mentality of the average American, and compare it to a time where things will be hard. Things will not be easily accessible. You will not be able to go down to the Moabite restaurant or to the fried chicken restaurant, the Arab crackhead chicken shacks, to get what you normally get. You won't be able to go to your local grocery store, to pick up, your malt liquors or whatever the hell Jake drinks out there nowadays. Back in the days, it was Cisco. It was, a Crazy Horse, Guinness Stout has always been around. Guinness Stout is a better grade of liquor or beer, and just whatever. So it's going to get hard because these people are used to an easy life. I'm just trying to look for this one particular verse right here. I think this is it. Right. Revelation 18:14. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee. Now, this is talking about during the destruction. But there's going to be a time also where there's going to be a lot of things that's going to be taken away from Jake, that Jake likes to do. It says, and all the things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. Now, when we look up the word dainty, it goes to fats, lipados, which goes to lipos or grease. Everything, that especially what Jake eats, they love that greasy shit. It tastes better with grease, That's the mentality. Things which pertain to a sumptuous and delicate style of living. See? And this is pretty much what's happening here. This is why the average American is so fat, overweight, morbidly obese. Because the foods that they give us here are not healthy. I mean, you have healthier choices that you can eat, but that also comes with with more expense. And dealing with Jake ain't got it like that for the most part. So they get the stuff that they can afford and that tastes good to them. Because if you change your diet around and then you go and you eat what you used to eat before, you'll be like, what the fuck is this? I can't believe I used to eat this shit. This shit tastes like cardboard. This shit is garbage. But Jake's taste buds are used to eating that stuff because that's the only game the man left him to play. Inside joke, but that word goes back to lipos, which is grease. Sumptuous, dainty. So it says things which pertain to a sumptuous and delicate style of living. Then we go back and we look up the word goodly. Right? And the word goodly is the word lampros. Right? And the word lampros, which it means light, but it's a shining, brilliant, clear, transparent, splendid, magnificent. Also splendid things, an example, luxuries or elegancies in dress or style. And this is why you understand why Jake sells out when they get into that world, whatever it may be, CEO or entertainer, whatever. To get high up in the society, to get to certain brackets, you have to bow down to the man, because at the end of the day, the whole so-called American dream is to live, a life of laid backness, if that's even a word, which I know it's not, but we made it a word. Live a life that's that you don't have any worries. All your bills are paid. Whatever you want, you can get. And this is why Jake, when they get to a point where they have pretty much everything they want, dealing with the men, they done popped as many women as they want. Then they start going to the other side, to the dark side. Dealing with men, alphabet people, so on and so forth. But that's this lifestyle. All right, bright, clear, gay, goodly, and gay does not mean homo. Gay means happy, but they took that word and pretty much distorted it, just like they distorted the rainbow. Gorgeous does not mean a beautiful woman. Gorgeous means bright, brilliant, shiny, white. Okay, so that's Lampros. So going back here, the word in 2 Timothy 3:1, which is perilous, hard to do, to take, to approach. Why? Because they're used to living such a easy lifestyle that when it starts getting hard, and they have to wait a second more to get what they normally get at a particular time, they start to lose it. That's where you see instances of these Jake women jumping through drive-through windows because they took a few seconds longer to get her food than she normally waits. So she's going to take it upon herself to jump through the window to get her shit because she doesn't have enough discipline to wait a few more seconds or another minute to get her food, because their minds are trained. And this, you got to remember that these foods and these drinks, these are all drugs. So Jake is in that connected, they're connected to the matrix, and they got, everything has to flow a certain way, because everything is instant. So when that starts being taken away, right, as just that little second, it just took a matter of a second to have this woman lose it and jump through the goddamn, takeout window to get her food. So just imagine when they can't get it, period. Man, get the hell out of here, man. The scriptures speak about we'll be speaking in a different language. Won't you just get the hell out of here? Won't you go find something constructive to do? Go jump in front of a truck or something. Why don't you do that? These fucking people always, why don't you do this? Why don't you just go mind your goddamn business? How about that? Fuck out of here, man. Hard to bear, troublesome, dangerous, harsh, fierce, savage. So these times that are coming are going to be savage times. So if you live in a lifestyle that is easy, right, and then it starts to be hard, what are you going to do? Most people are going to just fold under that pressure. So notice also that in the last days perilous times shall come, and we're coming up to those perilous times. Now let's go to the book of Ephesians, the 5th chapter, and the 15th verse. It says, see then that you walk circumspectly. Circumspect means to look around, not as fools, but as wise, right? Because the average Jake out here is still walking around here like fools. They're still doing the same shit that they were doing back in the days. The next generation and the generation after that's doing the same shit, hanging out in the corner, selling drugs, smoking weed, talking shit. It's the same old redundant thing done over and over and over again. So walk circumspectly, right? Not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time. Because what? Because the days are evil. And this is the times that we're coming into. That's why this phrase, may you live in interesting times, has relevance to the times that we're living in, and the idea of prophecies coming to pass to bring down this empire known as America, or Babylon the Great, and to bring down the excessive pride of these people out here, and especially Jake that refused to bow down to the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So we look up the word evil, right? And the word evil is pornos, where you get the word porno or pornography. And this one here, it says pornos, pain. It says full of labor, annoyance, hardships, pressed and harassed by labors, bringing toils, annoyance, perils of a time full of peril to Christian faith and steadfastness, causing pain and trouble. Bad of a bad nature or condition, in a physical sense, diseased or blind. It says in an ethical sense, evil, wicked, bad. All right. The brother just put up an excellent precept, Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, because the evil days are coming. And I'm glad the brother put that precept up, because this precept now goes into, as you read into it, it goes into what's going to bring these bad times, these evil days that are coming. Verse 2, it says, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, meaning this truth is shining. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. There's going to come a point where the truth is not going to be so readily available as it is now. And then people are going to be in the darkness without the sun and the moon and the stars shining on them, meaning they're not going to be able to receive answers, for what's coming. That's what the scriptures say. And knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. Right? Now, this is another beautiful precept. The elder Hawad from North Carolina, Ezekiel 7:5. Thus saith the Lord power, and evil, and only evil, behold, is come. Right. And we're right. It's right at the doorsteps. So when we read on, it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. Who are the keepers of the house? The keepers in the Greek, that's going to the Hebrew, there should be the word shamar, if I'm not mistaken. I'll look at it. But the Greek word for keepers in the New Testament would be oikomene. I'm sorry, not oikomene, economia, which goes back to the word economy, which is, someone that keeps the house, someone that's in charge of the maintenance and the upkeep of the house. They're given a certain amount of money by the master to make sure things run correctly. So in this case, in the case of what we're reading now, is talking about the individuals that are given the power and the finance to make sure that everything is running perfectly, that this whole mechanism of capitalism is running perfectly. But there's glitches, the money system is being devalued. So the machine is breaking down because everything is out of whack. Let's see what the word keeper is. Yep, shamar, which means to watch. All right. So it says, in the day that the keepers of the house shall tremble. Why shall they tremble? Because they're not going to be able to keep with the upkeep of the building, so to speak. Because it's the whole thing is starting to collapse around them. Their whole world is starting to collapse around them. And this is what the international bankers want. But what they don't understand, that this is the Lord's doing also, because they have, that's beautiful. The brother put up a precept that I got that came to mind actually when the lesson started. So Lord's will, we're going to get to that. But, this whole mechanism is falling apart, and they don't know what to do about it. It says, and the strong men shall bow themselves. See? And the grinders cease because they are few. What are the grinders? The grinders are the jobs. And you see as of lately that the jobs have grinded down, especially during the time, from 2020 to the present. And they're moving everything, digital, and they're moving everything robotic. They even have robots that can flip burgers, cook chicken. It says to grind, crush, grind meal, hence to be a concubine, that being their employment. Yeah, because that's what they were set up to do. Concubine means with lying, lying down. In other words, they were made to grind on. That's work. You got to put in that work. So grind or grinder is dealing with these jobs. In the New Testament, it says that two women shall be grinding, meaning they shall be working. Not that they grinding on each other like lesbos. They're going to be working, and the one shall be taken and the other left. See, this is the demented mind of Esau and these alternative lifestylers. Oh, see, two women were grinding. That means that one of them is going to be taken, so they're going to be lapping each other. No. See, look, and he took the calf. This is Exodus 32 and 20. And he took the calf. More than likely, this is dealing with Aaron. I'm sorry. No, this was Moses took the calf. And he took the calf which they had made and burnt it in the fire and ground it to powder. Meaning he beat it down, ground it to powder. So that's work. So the work of this place and pretty much around the world is going to come to a halt. Because it says, and the grinding what? And the grinders cease. We look up the word cease. The word is batal. To cease, the word to cease, to desist from labor, meaning to stop work. So the grinders cease or the work is stopped. Why? Because they are few. And we see that happening right now. People are catching hell. More and more people are on assistance. Because the jobs are few. Ma'at, which the word ma'at means little or small. To be or become small, be few, be diminished. Right. So there's going to be less jobs for Jake to do. And this is why they have something called the UBI, Universal Basic Income, which they want to give to people so that they don't come to these jobs. And that's gonna be one of the things that's gonna lead up to the MOTB or the Charagma, because everything is moving in a digital direction. Everything is moving in that direction. All right. So it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the window of the windows be darkened. Those are the forecasters as far as saying what this stock is going to do and that stock is going to do, the economic curve, it's going to be on an uptake today and next week is going to be on a downtake. All of that's going to be moved out the way. Why? Because the whole system is going to implode within itself. And this is what they plan on doing. Because when you listen to the John Todd confession tapes, one of the things he said is they want to collapse the economy of the world, even their own businesses, but still be so financially stable that they'll be able to withstand it and it won't affect them. Because in order for them to bring in the NWO fully, they have to crash the old system. This is why back in 2001, they brought the towers down, which they tried to do in 1993. But it didn't work in 93, but it worked in 2001. And those buildings that they brought down were the World Trade Centers, which was consisted of the economic basis of the whole entire world. And now they want to finish imploding the whole system so that they can bring about the new system. It's the story of the phoenix. A phoenix is a mythical bird that dies and is burnt up and then from the ashes it resurrects from the ashes and becomes greater. And this is what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to collapse the old system to resurrect a new system, or bring up a new system, which is going to be the NWO, which is going to be connected to the MOTB, which is the charagma. You see? And you still have those out there that neglect or debate or talk against the MOTB being this charagma. At one time, even Bishop Nathaniel said, well, can somebody tell me what the RFID has to do with buying and selling? A sister told me that her dog has a RFID, in them. I said, well, sister, maybe your dog can buy you a lamb. You see? But watch how the spin doctors do. When it's so evident that a child can see it, that we were always talking about that MOTB was a charagma. See, it's just that you guys weren't listening. See, because those are the spin doctors. Every lie they've been caught in, every time they've been pushed into a corner, every time they were wrong in the doctrine, they never fessed up. They don't have enough character to fess up and say that they were wrong. They always try to make people second guess. Well, no, we didn't really say it that way. We said it this way. And then the dummies are to be like, well, maybe he meant it that way. I don't know. The way he's putting it now, it makes sense. But you know what? The Lord knows. The Lord knows all of these things, and he has everything recorded. And when the time comes, it's going to be made known. Because then shall be known who are my chosen. Anyway, Ecclesiastes 12:4, it says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. Why? Because there's not going to be any work. And you've seen that happen within the last couple of years. Now they're starting to kind of sort of open back up. Everybody, now there was no more mandates, no more. Now they're getting back to you got to get the jab or you won't be able to work in certain federal jobs or federal jobs in general. They're going to push that around. They got this new BIRDFLU, a new strain coming through, that's supposed to be worse. And our elder Apostle Gabar at Saturday said, don't be surprised if you have people start bleeding out their eyes, their ears, their nose with this new thing that they're bringing out. You see? These devils are devious. They're treacherous. It says, and the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. Yeah. And he shall, and because one thing is to pay the average American worker is a lot more money than outsourcing these jobs to other countries where they can make their products for pennies on the dollar and then bring them back to the Americas, even after the overhead and the shipping, back and forth and paying all that overhead, they're still going to make out like a fat rat, because if it takes 5 cents to make a product and they could bring it here and sell it for $5, do you know that that's a big, what's the word I'm looking for? They'll make more money. There's a term for it. I can't think of it right now. It says also when they shall be afraid of that which is on high, inside joke, and fear shall be in the way. Yeah, because eventually the Lord is going to come and take this place out, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. Yeah. So it's going to be really bad out here. Now, let's go from there. Profit, the water, brother. Yep, profit. Yep, that's what that increased profit. Yep, that's it. All right, so we read and we read Ephesians. Matter of fact, let me go to the precept that the brother put up because I had it already lined up. This is our 2 Ezra 16 and 17. I thought about this dealing with, whatever the Spirit put it in my mind, dealing with all of this stuff that's coming, and the bad times that are coming. The world is going to be in chaos and turmoil. And the only ones that are going to be protected are the elect. Yeah, financial gain is another good one. Yep, that's good. But here, 2 Ezra 16 and 17, it says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Yeah, because the days that are coming are going to be evil. And this is going into the times of trouble that are coming. Matter of fact, let me get another one that just came to mind. Let me get this other one. And let's go back here. The days of trouble that are coming, the only way to be protected is by having or being one of the elect of the nation of Israel of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And that's it. That's why this phrase here is fitting, as the name of the title is, whether a curse or proverb or a made up phrase, there's still relevance. And we looked up the word relevance, the quality or state of being closely connected or appropriate, because the term may you live in interesting times is supposed to be a curse that seems to be a blessing, but the expression normally used ironically, life is better and interesting in uninteresting times of peace and tranquility than in interesting ones, which are usually times of trouble. Despite being so common in English as to be known as the Chinese curse, the saying is apocryphal and no actual Chinese source has ever been produced, right? Now, when we go down here to the origins, it says, despite being widely attributed as a Chinese curse, there is no known equivalent expression in Chinese. The nearest related Chinese expression translates as better to be a dog in times of tranquility than a human in times of chaos. And this also ties into what's going on right now, because the interesting times are times of chaos, times of trouble. The expression originates from volume 3 of the 1627 short story collection by Feng Menglong, Stories to Awaken the World. Evidence that the phrase was in use as early as 1936 is provided in the memoirs written by Hugh, so on and so forth. This is going back to the may you live in interesting times. But this is a good proverb here, or expression of Moab, better to be a dog in times of tranquility than a human in times of chaos. And this is the time we're coming into, the time of chaos, which is trouble. So Ezra's foreseen these things in the future, and he said, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Another precept keeps pounding in my head, so let me just get it. So let's go back. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. Now, this whole situation from 2020 on now until now, if you just woke up out of a coma, you got a lot of research to do. I'm not going to explain all of it. You already know if you've been watching and listening and learning. But that whole situation has brought chaos and turmoil, loss of jobs, loss of homes, loss of property, and it's getting so bad to where it's putting a squeeze on the supply chain, and this is what they wanted. They wanted to just bring things to a halt where there would be a lot of shortages, because food is the major way to be able to control the population. Because people can go without stuff. They can go without a home. They can go without a car. They can go without, new clothing or new shoes. But one thing they can't go without is food and water. You see? And this is what they've done. I read somewhere, a brother sent me an article or something like that, or I read somewhere that they're even rationing now. I believe the Walmarts, they're rationing that the formula for babies to drink, which these women are fucking lazy. They're going off because they got the natural milk in them. They're just fucking lazy. They can give the baby the milk that they have inside of them. But sometimes the babies reject the milk because these fucking women are so polluted. Eating all kind of abominations, drinking all kind of, crap. They'd have no concern or care for their babies. And they have the necessary tools. The Lord already built you to be able to sustain your child for at least the first 2 years of their life. But your lazy ass wants to get that damn formula, which backs the babies up anyway, give them all kind of, I forget the term. It starts with a C. Cholera, I think it is, or something like that, where the babies are all messed up because of that bullshit that they put in that formula. You already got it in you. But what they're doing is they're rationing that shit now because of the shortages. So you're no longer able to go to certain places and buy certain things that you got in bulk because everything is slowing down. And they're still doing that whole shit where they putting a whole bunch of stuff on the shelves. It looks like the shelves are full, but then when you grab a box, you look behind, there's nothing behind there. So they're systematically closing in on the people. And that's going to bring colic, the water brothers, colic. They're systematically shutting down the kind of apostle. I think it's Walgreens. Okay, Walgreens. Okay, so these devils are doing their thing, and this devil kill Bates. He is pushing for the whole world to accept this synthetic beef, and you don't know what the hell is in that thing. That's that Soylent Green. And it's hard to find that movie. Certain movies you used to be able to type on YouTube and they will come up. Now they want you to pay for it. And this movie came out in 1973. Right here. I would play the clip, but I don't know if they would, strike. So I don't want to get a strike. But you type in Soylent Green. This is the official trailer. And you can watch the trailer. You can watch the movie. You have to buy it or rent it. They used to have it on here. Now here you got this right here. But a lot of times when you see that and you click on it, it there's nothing there. It just redirects you to go to to another. See, watch for free. See, click link in description. So they don't really have it, but it make it seem like they have it there. All right. And pretty much the Soylent Green, was nothing more. They would tell them, don't eat it, because basically what the Soylent Green was goddamn, see, Soylent Green is people. See? And they got him all hemmed up, trying to make him look like he's crazy. And that's what they do. That's what the devil does, dudes. All right, so going back, the beginning of sorrow and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death. Because remember, they want to bring the great culling, which we read that at the end of camp. Elder Apostle Gabar had the brother pull it up and they read it. The great culling, which was cutting down of animals, but they consider the population that are not small hats, they consider them to be goyim, which are cattle, but really the word goyim goes back to the word goyim, which really means nations. It doesn't mean cattle, but they associate it with cattle. And that's what they look at the average person as, cattle. And they want to cull, or cut down the population of the earth based off of the Georgia Guidestones. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Who the fuck gave you the authority to say what nature can sustain or not? The thing is, your greed is fucking the planet up. The earth is destroyed or something like that under the inhabitants thereof. Because if everyone would learn how to farm and grow their own food, there wouldn't be such a chaotic way of waste, and continuous, harming of the planet, because everyone would know how to plant, and everybody would teach their children, and they would teach their children, and they would have food to sustain them. But no, your greed has created plastics and glass and different, vehicles to put food in, distribution and all of that. So you're constantly depleting the earth of its natural resources. And that's what the Lord said, he's going to destroy them that destroy the earth. When your devil ass goes down, the whole world is going to be at peace. Because when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. But when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. If you call yourself the people of righteousness, the people of God, if you really are the Israelites, then why is the whole fucking world in such a chaotic way? If you already established yourself as being the people of the Most High on the earth, why is the earth still in such a chaotic situation? Why do animals still attack people? The scriptures say that when the kingdom is set up, animals are not going to attack the Israelites. Anyway, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers, which are the governments, shall stand in fear, because they're not going to understand what's going on in the world. The beginning of evils, which the word evil means bad times. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Right. And the elect will be protected by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All you need to do, read Isaiah 65, read Psalms 34, Psalms 37, and many other chapters. I have been young, and now I'm old, never have seen the righteous forsaken, nor a seed begging bread. Ecclesiasticus, the 2nd chapter, and the Apocrypha, and many more. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Why? Because this planet and the majority of people in it are not doing the things that are pleasing to the Most High. So these things that you see, these plagues and these hardships and hard times and chaotic times are sent as scourges for amendment. This is a scourge that the Most High is unleashing on the planet. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness. Right. How do we know that? Well, what happened? Was that 2005? When the levees broke and Louisiana got that area, that section got flooded, where they hold all that freak shit that they have, And what happened? They kind of, it died down for a little bit. And then when they rebuilt, they're right back to the same old shit that got them in that jam in the first place. Regardless or if these devils blew the levee or not. Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? These are scourges for amendment, especially for you Israelites. But you don't listen. You get right for a moment and then you go right back to the same shit that got you in the trouble in the first place. Bunch of hard-headed, thick-headed, meathead jakes out there. Nor be always mindful of the scourges. Right, you're not always mindful of these scourges. What happened in Haiti, in different places, down in Peru, down in Ecuador, certain other places where certain catastrophes happen. Yep, Hurricane Katrina. All these different things that happen to Jake, they'll get right for a moment, but then they'll go right back to the same shit that they were doing that got him in that predicament in the first place. Then it says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. These chaotic times. Now, the gas prices are starting to go down a little bit now, because the last time they were about $4.50 something, and then they started going down to $4.30, $4.20. Now it's down to four something, and people are probably saying in their mind, well, I'm happy the gas prices are going down. And even if they stay at $4, back a couple of years ago, the fucking gas was $2 something. Now it's hiked up to almost another $2 or $1.50. But you're happy if it goes to $4, so you don't have to pay $4.50. But you were paying $2.50 just about a year ago. So great confusion. That's what's coming. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. Yeah, because the cities are going to be shut down. You know? Gonna be jacked up, man. Now let's go here to 2nd Ezra 15:1. But before we go there, let's go to some of these other precepts. Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince who standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble. Let's look up this word trouble. Time of trouble. Which this is a scripture that Benjamin brought out to Nate, and Nate denied that there was going to be a time of Jacob's trouble. Now all of a sudden he just slid right up in there like the oily snake that he is. Tazarah. And they have their flunkies watching the video so they can go back and report every time we mention them, and they call us haters. If reproof and correction makes us haters, then so be it. We'll be that. Straits, distress, trouble, vexer, rival, wife. Adversary, adversity, tribulation, trouble, anguish, distress. Troublous times are coming. It says, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be saved, every one that shall be found written in the book, meaning the elect are going to be the ones that are going to be delivered in these times. Jeremiah 30:7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Right, because the Lord has an election that's going to be saved out of it. And the same word, Tazarah, which I believe the word Tazarah also means fear. So trouble, fear, anguish, all of these are synonymous with each other. What do we have here? Isaiah 5:13. Therefore my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honor and captivity, slavery, was a very perilous time for Jake. And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. Yeah, because you have those that are pompous and that rejoice in that pomposity. And the Lord's going to deal with every last one of them. And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. Yeah, because the Lord is bringing hell. He's going to unleash hell upon the earth. But the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and the Most High that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness, because this is going to be the Most High's day. His name Yahweh is going to be exalted. His son's name Yahweh Shai is going to be exalted, because everybody else is all about them. But the Most High said, no, this is my day when I'm going to unleash my fury on the earth. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner, and the waste places of the fat ones shall strangers eat. Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity. What is iniquity? Iniquity is sin on top of sin on top of sin. Transgressions and iniquities compiled. That's iniquity. So you drawing iniquity with cords of vanity. So you continuously are adding transgressions to that sin train. You got a train, and the train has all kind of cabooses on it, all kind of cars in it, and then each one of those cars is full of sin, and you keep adding more and more to the back, and you're pulling that with you. It tells you that at the end of 2nd Ezra 16, the field is covered. It's like a field that is covered with bramble bush and all kind of weeds and all kind of shit. It's not passable. It says, and sin as it were with a cart rope, that say, let him make speed and hasten his work, that we may see it. And let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come, that we may know it. Because a lot of jakes, if they don't see stuff happening, they don't believe it. Oh yeah, They Live. Yep, that movie They Live. Yep. Oh yeah, brother, we've seen that movie plenty times. Yep, They Live, and that's an excellent movie because they show you how they want the population to pretty much, obey the government. you know? And that's pretty much what it is. It's about obedience to the so-called New World Order and everything that they push. And what they're looking for is zombies that do not question. See? Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Why? Because when these troublous times come, they're going to fall right into those troublous times. They're going to be, glued into it, and they're not going to be delivered. Only the elect will be delivered from these perilous times. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and the men of strength to mingle strong drink. It says, which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. Therefore, as the fire devoureth the stubble, and the flame consumeth the chaff, so their root shall be as rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust, because they have cast away the law of the Lord of hosts, and despised the word of the Holy One of Israel. Yeah, and this is why they're going to find themselves in that predicament, because they went against the Lord. Remember, the Lord said, if you don't follow my ways, all these curses shall come upon you and overtake thee. Therefore is the anger of the Lord kindled against his people, and he hath stretched forth his hand against them, and hath smitten them. Because there's going to be a set number of Israelites that's going to catch hell and are not going to be delivered. It says, and the hills did tremble, and their carcasses were torn in the midst of the streets. See? For all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Why? Because the Lord corrects Jake in measure. That's why you constantly see Jake getting jacked up, because these are the judgments on the Lord upon his people. But with the other nations, he don't do that. He let them slide all the way till they can't slide no more. And he brings that judgment upon them all at once. Because eventually the 2/3 that are here in America and the Israelites that don't make it around the world are going to be in the kingdom anyway. But they're just going to have to suffer what's coming, before they can get to the kingdom. And he will lift up an ensign to the nations from afar, and will hiss unto them from the end of the earth. And behold, they shall come with speed swiftly. This is dealing with the missiles, the ICBM/hypersonic missiles, and any other form of missile that they have that has nuclear capability. None shall be weary nor stumble among them. None shall slumber nor sleep, because this is going to be the ultimate time of trouble. After Jacob's trouble is going to be the destruction. World War III, Yahushua coming, this destruction that's coming, that's going to be the ultimate, the final analysis. Neither shall the girdle of their loins be loosed. Yeah, because these missiles don't have feelings. They don't have emotions. Like sometimes you have men that go to war, they might be fierce warriors, but they come across something that even they have fear in their heart. But these missiles don't have fear. They're not gonna discern between if it's an old man or a young man or a baby. They don't give a damn. And then the Spirit of the Lord is going to be in those missiles too. Nor the latchet of their shoes be broken, whose arrows are sharp and all their bows bent. Their horses' hoofs shall be counted like flint, and their wheels like a whirlwind, because they're coming fierce and they're coming quick. Their roaring shall be like a lion. Right, because another mention of this is in the book of Revelation, the 9th chapter, where it describes the missiles with the heads of lions. It says, they shall roar like young lions. Yea, they shall roar and lay hold of the prey. Who's the prey? Esau, 2/3 of Israel, the other nations. Whoever's left in the swords of America, you're going to be the prey. And wherever else these missiles hit on the earth. It says, and shall carry it away safe, and none shall deliver it. And in that day they shall roar against them like the roaring of the sea. And if one look unto the land, behold, darkness and sorrow. That's what's coming to America. Darkness and sorrow. Babylon the Great. And the light is darkened in the heavens thereof, because there's going to be so much smoke and soot and fire going up that this certain parts of this side of the world are going to be dark, blacked out. You ain't going to be able to see the sun, the moon, the stars for a certain period of time. The day of the Lord is gloominess and darkness, you know. So pretty much this has been, whether a curse, a proverb, or a made up phrase, there's still relevance. And that's dealing with the term or the phrase, may you live in interesting times, which is pretty much like a curse. It's, you know, instead of living in uninteresting times of peace and tranquility, may you live in interesting times of chaos and confusion. All right. So with that, I pray that your brothers and your few sisters have been edified. Until the next time I say, Shalom.